Hey, hello everyone. I would like to have a little discussion with you. Like not the type of video I make normally, but I want to have a chit chat with you. It's about the Linux community. And if you are watching this video, there is a high chance you are like part of the community, or maybe you are willing to get inside the community, something like that. So we need to talk. We need to talk because I'm upset. I'm laughing, but I'm upset. Let's get into it. What I believe is that the Linux community right now is one of the reasons Linux is not growing as fast as it should. So you're going to be like, yeah, Max, like, what are you saying? You know I'm a big Linux lover, okay? And deep down, what I would like for Linux, to become, sorry about that, I would like Linux to just like, become bigger, having like more market share. So I don't have anything to win out of it, I believe, directly. I think it will be like better for everyone. That's what I believe deep inside me. I did switch from Windows to Linux. I know like it's not a perfect place, but somehow like I feel better there. Like I think it's just better for what I'm doing with my computer. And I would love everyone to have this type of experience. That's why I make video on YouTube. That's why I try to give back to the community on my own. And most of the time, I would say I try to be positive, okay, and objective and inclusive. That's the way I will describe it. But the issue is that most of the community is not like that. And me too, like sometimes I can be exclusive or I could be subjective because I would like Linux to succeed so much that sometimes I make mistakes, and those mistakes, they are directly impacting the newcomer. So let me give you an example, okay? Like a super simple example. Let's say I wanna drive a car. Like I wanna get a car. Like I want to buy one, or I don't want to rent one, or whatever. So I go to this place, get the car, okay? Start to drive, and after like, I don't know, 5 kilometers, I notice that the AC is not functioning. Like it's not there. When I asked for the car, I was asking for AC because I like AC, okay? Like I want AC in my car. That's how I live. Anyways, it's an example, okay? And so I'm driving my car. And the first thing I think, obviously, is to call the place, and be like, hey, what's happening? And the place is be like, yeah, well, that's all we have. So that's all we have. So I'm like, okay. So then I'm like, maybe I'm gonna ask some friends, aka community. And I ask the first one, and I'm like, hey, bro, like I just got this car. Like, how could you help me to, make the AC works? Because I don't know how to deal with it. And, your friend, part of the community, first thing he's going to do is going to be open. He's going to be like, hey, a nice car, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to try to help you if I can. If I don't have time, he's going to tell you, hey, I don't have time. Sorry, you're going to ask someone else. But you got the idea. It's going to be more like a discussion, right? And what you expect from him is like, try to solve the problem, or just say, I don't know, have like a normal conversation. And you will see where I get there. You're gonna get it really soon. But what you don't expect is that ask this guy and him to say, hey bro, what did you get the car? And be like, well, I get the car to move around, right? To go to a point A to a point B, for example. And him to say, well, you see, is this car bring you from point A to point B? We don't really care. We don't really care about the AC and all those fancy stuff. It's doing the job. So move on. Like, you don't expect that, right? It could be definitively a type of answer, but you don't expect that. Second type of answer would be like, hey bro, I have the same car as you. Yep, exactly the same. But guess what? For me, it works. For me, it works. I don't know about you, dude. Good luck. Be like, okay. Or the last one would be something like, bro, you don't even know how to turn on the AC on your car? You moron. So you get the idea, okay? I was just making this analogy between like a user of Linux who just want to, activate some type of functionality in Linux or I don't know, and has all the wrong answer possible and not the good one. Like all the wrong. Like it's so like, sometimes it's so cringe. I don't know. I don't want to use those words because I think like sometimes those behaviors are so like obnoxious. That's the word. Obnoxious, dude. That you are wondering if it's a full troll. Like what's going on? Like what is going on? And like I had to read a lot like for the last like two or 3 weeks about NVIDIA driver and the the release of the 545, the beta, and I try to get into it and get like a lot of like feedback from the community through forum, through the dev git, through like everyone. And man, I'm reading some of those comments. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Dude, now we are done with the analogy. The truth, and I'm going to talk about NVIDIA GPU and AMD GPU, for example. But I could talk about anything else. But the truth, dude, is like, for example, NVIDIA and AMD, is that you have a reality of the market, okay? The reality of the market is like 76% of the gamer are using an NVIDIA card. Okay, that's a reality. Nobody can contest that. Whether you like it or not, whether you judge those guys buying the NVIDIA card like good or bad or whatever, that's your subjectivity, right? That's your point of view. But the reality of the market is that. By the way, I have an NVIDIA card here. And without going too deep on why those guys, they buy the NVIDIA card, because it shouldn't be the subject of this discussion right now. We have, as a community, we have to understand that when a user switches from Windows to Linux, it comes from a different paradigm to another one. And in the Windows paradigm, it's not really rational to go with NVIDIA because the AMD driver on Windows are not the best, and they have not been the best for decades now. I don't even remember last time I had a good experience with AMD driver. I had some AMD card, but it was like long time ago. I think it was like maybe ATI card, just to give you an idea, okay? So my point here is like, when a new user, if for example is stuck with an NVIDIA card in some type of scenario, us as a community, we need to be objective enough and inclusive enough to try to help those guys. Because if we don't do it, we are just closing the door to 76% of the potential like population of Linux. Like, as simple as that, dude. As simple as that. And I'm saying to the community, because some of those comments, if I was getting in and reading at this comment, I will just be like, I don't want to go on Windows. Sorry, I don't want to go on Linux. Of course, I don't want to go on Windows, but I don't want to go there. Because it looked like it's a crab den. Like, everybody is like tearing them apart. Like I don't want to go there. And this is my issue, dude. Like, some guys, they would be like, hey, I would like to deactivate vSync. And some AMD fanboy would be like, bro, you are not at the right place. You should buy AMD GPU, you loser. The heck? He doesn't know the story of open source, and he doesn't care, the dude. He just want to use his computer and play a video game without vSync. Or, it's a guy who arrive and is like, oh yeah, you know what? You should get rid of your NVIDIA and go with AMD. Oh, you know what? These NVIDIA guys, they suck. I'm like, what? Like, what are we talking about? So I understand there is always, like, a little bit of rivalry, kind of. But like, this dude is not responsible of that. And when he bought the card, from his perspective, it's a good buy. And if you don't agree with that, that's your problem, because 78% of the people, they believe in that, the majority. So what I'm trying to explain is like, when we try to help someone, we need to like kind of like see their perspective. And if we can't, we should just like not help at all. As simple as that. You don't help. You're like, okay, well, I think this guy is whatever I think it is. I'm just gonna pass. Or if I really want to help and I want like be part of the community and do something, I do it. So obviously we all have been guilty of it. You know, we all have been there when you're like, oh boy, like what, like, how am I gonna solve this? You know, like it's gonna be tough. But on the other way, you have to think about how your behavior at a micro level is impacting the whole community. And it's the same as a dev level. Like I've seen some of those discussions about, again, I'm going to talk about vSync and Wayland, for example, because Wayland is like such a wow, like nice subject those days. Everybody want to move to Wayland, me included, okay? But I'm like, bro, we can't have an implementation of Wayland without being able to put tiering in it. It's just not going to happen. Like this is a type of option which have been there for like decades. You need to be able to disable vSync. It's a fact. All the gamers, they want to deactivate it. And I understand maybe like, you know, in your world of like not gaming, you don't think vSync is important, like deactivating vSync or tiering is not important. And I get it. But the thing is like by doing that, you are not including everyone. You are excluding. And if you add up all those exclusions, well, nobody's going to come. And the project you are working on, well, it's going to stay where it's at, which is like 2% global of the usage of the desktop. And this is a reality. And I'm not saying that by, you know, trying to be mean, but this is a reality, dude. And this is what we need to think about. It's like the success of Linux is really like linked to our behavior and how we try to, you know, like elevate everyone and include everyone, and trying to do that from an objective standpoint, not about our own truth or own perception of the problem. I have like thousands of examples. I don't want to give too much, but like you got the idea, right? You have the famous, like I was watching this video about the Linux cast. I think it's the name. Is this gentleman called Matt was explaining another issue related to the community, which was like, it works on my hand. But bro, like, it doesn't solve the problem. It works on your hand. And it's kind of like condescending, because by saying like it works on my hand and it doesn't work on yours means like you are like stupid. Like what's the point? What is the value added to this discussion? And I wanna share that with you guys, because I would love everyone to understand this and kind of work on themselves at every level. Because the difference between Linux and every other community is like, in Linux, we all participate to the project. And so all the users, when they kind of like answer like that, they are a direct representation of the project. And this is not looking good. It just looks bad. And so if you want the whole project like to get lifted up, to get elevated, we all need to move on and get better. Well, you got the idea, guys. So if you are new to Linux and you don't know what I'm talking about, just, you know, when you ask question, don't take it personally or anything. It's just a trend right now. I don't know. I really hope this trend is going to be like diluted in the mass at a certain point, because we're going to have so much users that those guys are like not objective or not, you know, inclusive. Well, they're going to be like lost in the mass. But honestly, like we need to think about it, and you as a new user, you need to understand it. It's not against you. It's just some type of trend. So don't give up, because you might miss a really good opportunity to have really like a lot of fun on Linux. Yeah, that's all. Like, I just wanted to talk about that real quick, so there won't be like no edit, nothing. It's just my raw feeling right now. I never done that on YouTube, and I felt like I needed to do it. Let me know what you think in the comment below, and yeah, see you in the next one. But it works. It works on my side. Bisous, bisous.